It's been a while since we've reviewed a proper system. We're always driving and fooling around, making people in the comments section furious. Anyway, today we're filming a Lada 2113, similar to the one Loud Sound has got. This car was built to resemble that first project, the one that had a huge box inside. I recall starting a discussion on Instagram to find out what's the better everyday option, wall or no wall, as in which setup is more efficient. But then there's also the element of show. In this enclosure, you can see everything that's going on, thanks to a lack of window tint. You can see the subwoofer and the frontal acoustics, and the car flexes almost to the point where it tears the trunk lid apart. So yeah, we're showcasing a legit build today. I mean, these Ladas are the weapon of choice for a lot of young dudes. This particular one being a cheap ride with a ton of cash poured into it. Then again, what some consider to be a ton of cash, others might consider chump change. You guys let us know in the comments after we discuss how much the owners spent on his car audio mods. But now I suggest we take a closer look at the system, and then of course head out and blast some music. I can name a few significant benefits of not running a wall. First off, you've got the visibility. Second, the subwoofers are right behind you, for everybody to observe. So a bit of showmanship there. That's what these sorts of installs are made for. They are very pronounced when looking in from the outside. Even with the system switched off, this thing attracts plenty of attention. Do you get a lot of looks? Yeah, sure. Even when the system is silent, am I right?
Wish, 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 another one in the basket. Get the shit, another one in the basket. Another one in the basket.
So 2113s, 2108s, and other cars built on this chassis are a must-have for building these sorts of systems, thanks to their huge doors which have room for loads of components. Here we have 10 pairs of M60 Neos, which are arranged perfectly, with most of the speakers located on the left side. This is exactly what you need for an open-air party, not to mention that most of the speakers are placed near the top, which is good for when you're driving around with the windows down. That allows for plenty of sound to make it outside. If these speakers were to be arranged in 2 rows, not as much sound would be making it out of the cabin. This car plays loud regardless of whether the doors are closed or not. Here we've got some T34 tweeters, with this entire frontal setup being powered by 3 amplifiers. 2 of those are wideband monoblock Apocalypse AAB 2800s, plus we've got one 4-channel amplifier with 175 watts per channel feeding the tweeters. The volume is off the charts. but the sound quality is still very crisp. This car lacks the typical drawbacks such as sagging doors, thanks to these speakers being built around neodymium magnets and therefore not weighing too much. Though I'm guessing it's a matter of time. In my opinion, the owner deserves props for the quality of this install, which we'll examine in just a minute. He went all out and built a car that looks equally at home at a competition event or when simply driving down the streets, when everybody can't help but peer into the cabin, this being the truly high-quality install that it is. You guys let us know in the comments what you think. So about 80% of the interior space is occupied by the sound system, with zero detriment to comfort. Again, this is one of the strong suits of this chassis. The front section of this cabin is quite roomy. I mean, I don't have any seats back there. Instead, we've got a huge box with 6 12-inch 2612 speakers. Despite that, I've got plenty of room. For those who are looking to put together a full-fat system, the amount of space that this chassis provides would be a huge benefit, the obvious drawback being that these cars are basically made out of tinfoil. You'll see what I mean once I show you what the base has done to the trunk lid. The power supply and the amps are located behind the B-pillars. Well, the amps are actually attached to a partition, which is secured to the subwoofer enclosure. We've got 2 battery plates, plus there's another AGM plate inside the spare tire niche. The power supply isn't quite up to par with the system itself, but it gets the job done. That 11800 monoblock has got a 2-ohm connection going, with the voltage only occasionally dropping below 12 volts, and even then only when you've been blasting music for a long time. The car can easily go for a good hour at a competition even in hot weather, which isn't half bad. For those of you looking to install a similar system based around a box, be prepared to constantly repair the trunk lid. This is very much a weak link, with it repeatedly being torn apart. I mean, the lock is always getting ripped out. Depending on what kind of system you're running, you're looking at the lock letting go every few days. But here's a life hack for you. Even if your system isn't capable of generating 150 decibels, say you've got one 12 or 15-inch speaker tuned for low frequency, given that this shell is so tinny, from the outside you'll get the impression that the system generates 160 plus decibels. So this is actually the perfect option for showing off and grabbing people's attention, even if your system isn't that powerful. But that's definitely not our situation. Here we've got 6 subwoofers in the cabin. A good way to bring this system up to speed would be installing 2 additional subwoofers, which would allow for running a 1-ohm connection. That'll yield more bass, but also cause the trunk lid to deteriorate even faster. Right, time to blast some tunes. But first, let's meet the owner. Don't forget to follow him at Granta AMG. So, how much cash have you spent? I'm sure you've seen the YouTube show How Much Is the Look. How much was all of this? To be completely honest, at a certain point I've lost count. I'd say about 5,000 bucks. 5 grand, okay. But you didn't spend that all at once, correct? Well, of course. A work in progress then. Do you have any regrets? Perhaps you should have bought a different car. Yeah, people keep telling me that I could have bought a Solaris or something. Does the door shut? I take it this is your first time in a car like this. Yeah. Not a fan of loud music? Is this an interview or something? Did you see the sparks in my eyes? Tell us what you think, Dasha. Ready for that interview? Is everything okay? No. Why so? Is my hair all messed up? Nah, I'd say you've got some volume. Caraudio guys do moonlight as barbers and hairdressers. It's hard to talk. Looks like you're into it now. It's not too bad. See that? Now you need 2 more subwoofers. to get me completely like, do I look okay? This sort of installation is what you'd call a classic southern-flavored everyday build. A loud-ass Lada with a box that makes everyone's day here in Rostov. For those who stumbled upon our channel and are not really familiar with the world of car audio, don't be surprised. For us, gutting the interior is completely normal, not to mention that it's a lot of fun. We always have a few dozen people in the comments who write something like, "What the hell am I doing here?" Or "What's the point of all of this?" The entire point of this is to have fun, guys. Now we evaluate playback on this system in a rather unusual way, just so you understand what this car sounds like in traffic. We're about 60 meters away from the car, and you can hear everything very clearly, even the subwoofer array, not to mention the frontal acoustics. This can get a bit uncomfortable at times for bystanders, but if you play the right music, that might actually be pretty uplifting. You can get people into a positive mood, what with workdays having this gray and droning vibe to them. And here, all of a sudden, you're looking at a festival roll by, carrying some awesome music with it. Personally, when I see a car like this, which is blasting some awesome tunes, I always show my respect. For those of you watching the video, give this Lada a thumbs up. This is truly a fantastic build, and the owner is a legend. He made very good use of his money, as opposed to putting together some ghetto-rigged crap. Right, goodbye.